Hello, everyone. This is Moncef Afkir, and thank you so much for joining us in this new call of Your Divine Uniqueness. Today, I'm both the host and the guest, so alone. We don't have a speaker guest today, so I will be conducting a guided group journey. And in the beginning, I will give just a brief introduction about how it works. So it's in the beginning, we connect to our higher self, spirit guides, and also invite other benevolent beings who can support us in this journey. It depends. They can be like Pleiadians mainly, and recently Arcturians also starting to come in. And but most importantly is that everyone can have a unique and different experience. So there are different themes in general, like 3 or 4 themes that comes intuitively either through the session or earlier during the day. I feel guided to talk about. So I speak about those themes, and then I allow a few minutes. I stay silent during those few minutes and just holding the space for everyone, where they like everyone can have a different experience. Like they can experience energy shifts through the frequencies I'm holding, or the beings that are supporting this this journey as well. And yeah, so it's also it's more about holding the frequencies of authentic love and acceptance. And with time, after experiencing that, it's like like if we can call it, the goal is for you at some point you'll be able to do that on your own and support yourself on your path. And yeah, of course, like all of us at some point we need support from others, but it's more about having the experience. And once we have the experience, it's more, then it becomes more about maybe part of us, we know it and we feel it. So with time, we can bring more of that. And yeah, so this is how it works. And yeah, so let's start. And yeah, so in the beginning, I invite you to take 3 deep breaths. Inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth. So I will stay silent for a few moments so you can do the breathing at your own pace. And now I invite our higher selves, our spirit guides, and the benevolent beings who are here to also hold the space and support in transmuting the energy that needs to shift. And as I mentioned in the email, it's the main theme will be about navigating the shift to the new new you, or new me, or new us in general, shifting from the old ways of being to the new ways of being, and creating and living life in general, relating to others, and how we live our day-to-day life. And in general, when there is this kind of shifts, when we feel it, it's, how to say it, it brings some energies that we are not used to it, and it feels unusual. It feels uncomfortable in the beginning, and all the narrative, the doubts, the limiting beliefs that we had in the past um, that created the old safe space, or maybe the comfort zone in the past, they come to the surface because there is new energy, new shift that is challenging those or triggering those. And it may happen that we feel one of them or maybe all of them at once. And especially in the end of the shift, those energies become stronger than before, because maybe some of them at some points they became dormant and we are not conscious of them. It's more, they are more running on the background. And when we feel the shift happening, we start getting those doubts. That's, if creating what we want, is it really possible? If it will really happen, or is it just like the past? How to say, things take a very long time for us to show up, or maybe great things happen to others but not us. Or maybe we feel that, or we believe that we have blockages or some blocking beliefs that will not let us to receive what we desire, or will sabotage what we want to create. Take a deep breath. And these times of shift they can be also intense because we are resisting those dense emotions that come to the surface, or beliefs, because they feel uncomfortable, and automatically the reaction we have is that we try to remove them, that this is something wrong and we shouldn't feel that. Take a deep breath. And there also, possibly we can also experience more self-judgment, especially when those feelings are intense. And because we hear lots that we need to feel them and we need to allow them to move through us, but at the same time, it's at time it may feel difficult to do that, or it gets so intense we may run away from those feelings, and then we start judging ourselves that we are not able to handle this. Take a deep breath. And this can run for a long time. Like, it can be repeated, like the emotions come to the surface, feel intense, and then we run away from them. We judge ourselves, and then again, it's the same like circle. The same cycle happens again and again and again. And what we may think of doing is to just give up. But there is also another way. It's more about surrendering, and it may feel also like giving up, but it's very different. Giving up, it's more like just believing that what we desire won't happen to us, or giving up on our dreams, or giving up on connecting more deeply to ourselves. But surrendering is more about accepting that those emotions, they are part of the human experience. They are there. They are not there for us to fight them, to remove them, to resist them. It's more about allowing them, as we allow also joy, happiness, excitement, or excitement about achievements and things like that. It's more like, as much as we can, seeing them, it's like seeing them from a distance and seeing them playing the game of the human experience. It's and what happens with time, so it depends on each of us. It can sometimes it can take time. It can happen maybe fast. There's also a possibility of grace and instant shift, but this is something, it's we don't look for it much, we just allow it to happen for us. And so I was saying that with time, when we surrender to all those aspects of being human and just allow them to play the game, with time it becomes more like a choice instead of giving our power away to them, like they have more power over us. It's more about how to say, it's like if there was an experience that you had so many times in your life, at some point it just feel not interesting. Maybe you feel bored doing that, and yeah, there is maybe opportunity to have the same experience, but you just don't really feel interested in that. So it's, and you don't do that, you don't choose that. So it's more, this is just a maybe simple example about how emotions become more like a choice. And then it doesn't mean that we won't feel that. It's more just we know that this is temporary, no matter how intense it is. Take a deep breath. And also, this is not something that we force, we allow it to happen through with time and with experience. And be okay that we'll not be able to reach that level of making a choice fast or instantly, maybe quickly. Like allowing time to help us to shift that. And also sometimes it can be very intense. It just it feels very difficult to handle. And if it's possible in those time, if you know someone you trust, someone who can hold the space for you, maybe a friend, someone from your family, maybe a healer, someone that you trust and you feel safe being vulnerable with them. In these times, like receiving that support can be very helpful. I will stay silent for a few minutes and just holding the space and allowing everyone to just contemplate this in your life if you experience that, and also allowing whatever energy related to this theme to be transmuted by receiving support from your guides or the beings here with us, and they will be working with each one of you, and it depending on where you are in your journey. And yeah, so take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. And Karen, I will answer your question in the end. Also, something else to contemplate, because I mentioned, I talked about running away from our dense emotions. it's more if it's possible, as much as we can when this happens, maybe it can be helpful to try to contemplate if we are running away because it's too intense, or because it became a habit. It can be like maybe small addiction or big. It's not necessarily like a big addiction, but running away can maybe doing something that's just allow us to take our focus to something else, so we don't feel the intensity. So this is just something to contemplate, and the awareness that we can have from this contemplation really can help us to start shifting that, and knowing maybe how we can approach this this aspect. And take a deep breath. And one of the limiting beliefs that we may have when we are shifting to creating new things, or maybe following our dreams, is that it doesn't, sometimes it doesn't feel very spiritual to dream big, to maybe achieve great things that we dreamed about for a long time, or creating maybe abundance in all aspects of our life. Abundance, I mean, in a bigger way. Sometimes it feels like, and it's a limiting belief, that being spiritual means that maybe we just need to accept or settle down for maybe a little, or just what we need exactly. I'm not saying this is bad, but if this is a choice, a desire that you have, then it's good. But I'm talking about when you want to create more, you want to create in a bigger way, and you have big dreams, but at the same time you feel like maybe spiritually it's not something good, or maybe you will be judged, that maybe will not be trusted by others. For example, if you offer a service or something, and yeah, so take a deep breath. And the issue with labels and identities is, like, we humans, we create an identity and or label, and then we create laws that define that label, and those laws are just made up. It's not necessary. It's, how to say, because in general we feel comfortable to have very defined laws and steps that we need to follow, because it's easier, and we don't need to maybe face the unknown more often. But what happens is, when we get identified by a label is, and we don't follow one of those laws, we feel that we are doing something wrong, or others also maybe can judge us about judge us that we are doing something wrong, that we are not spiritual, or maybe any label, not just about spirituality. And this also can make this limiting belief of just settling for a little maybe more stronger. And because especially when we try to please others, this can feel very strong. Take a deep breath. And maybe this is just my approach. Maybe necessarily it doesn't resonate with you. It's for me, I don't use in general labels, but it if I use them, it's just to transmit a message because, as we know, like the words, the languages, they are limited, and sometimes it's difficult to express ourselves through language. But for me, more like spirituality is a way of being. Um, it's a way of being, the way we connect to ourselves, to the universe. But it's not an identity. It's more for me like we are bigger than that identity. And this brings more, how to say, freedom. It's like at the same time, it's like when we hear a lot about nothingness, that's we are nothing at the same time we are everything. So it's more like being nothing, it's more becoming not identified by any level. And then we are able to reach more of our potential. We have more freedom to be what we want in each and every moment. We are not restricted by laws that are created by others. It's us who decide how we live our life, what we want to create, and how we dream. If we want to dream big, so we give. It's more about our own choice and our choice only. Take a deep breath. And another aspect that is also related to this, when we have dreams that we want to create or manifest, because when we try to imagine the end results, we feel very excited. And this big excitement, we have this desire that we want it now. We want to create that thing, to receive that thing now and not later. And then this creates some kind of how to say, stress or confusion, or also maybe it's at some point, if we keep feeling that high intensity of excitement, at some point, because we are giving lots of energy, at some point we feel like we start having again those doubts that maybe this is not possible. Take a deep breath. And here comes the power of both flexibility and also the power of like the small steps, taking things like step by step. It's more we have this deep knowing that we deserve what we want and it will happen. Maybe we don't know exactly the time and how things will unfold, but it's more we are co-creating with, we have a team, like spiritual team and also physical, like human. It's like we take one step at a time, and then we allow things to unfold like on their own, because like sometimes we believe that when we create something or when we achieve something, we did it on our own. For me, what I believe, it's always a co-creation, always, with humans and like physical beings or spiritual beings. It's how to say, for example, like this show, I am the host, I created it, but I don't do it alone. Like I'm just part of it. There is you, the audience, and the speakers. And without one of these, it can't happen. And as we start working step by step, like we receive more guidance, we can receive help from other people, maybe um, receive support or just messages. And also from on the spiritual level, there are energies working on our behalf that we don't see. And it's more about just taking the step and relaxing, trusting that it's there is something preparing on the background that we don't see. And maybe also this, if we are not used to that, we need to allow for some time to become more natural. And the more and when we start seeing, how to say, we start feeling the momentum going, because the more we go through that path, the more we build more trust. So it's okay if in the beginning we don't trust fully. It's more about just starting this path of both trust and at the same time creating our desire. Take a deep breath. And also, like I said in the beginning, it's okay if it at some point things feel intense. It's in general, when it's intense, it's the part when like a big shift can happen. And also, like I mentioned about the team, it's like maybe you are in office, you have a team that you are managing, and you give tasks to each one, and you don't micromanage everyone. You just allow them, and you trust them to do their work. So this is the image I wanted to transmit. And I will stay silent for a few minutes again, holding the space for you to contemplate this, and also allowing any maybe density, any energy that needs to shift related to that, or maybe feeling some limitations, allowing whatever needs to be transmuted to shift. And you don't need to do anything, just be in that space and contemplate if it resonates with you. And yeah, so take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. And also another fear that we can experience when we try to dream big dreams, we try to manifest them, we fear that um, we can't handle it when it will manifest. It will be too much for us. Um, either managing what we are creating, or maybe handling the, how to say, the response from other people. Take a deep breath. And here we can ask, because it's us who leads our path and what we create. We can ask that the unfolding happens in a way that's it's, how to say, it's in a way in different steps that prepare us to handle more expansion, more and more. And yeah, we feel more ready for that. So we may ask for that as well. And also at the same time, it's not about creating how to say, safety zones. When we reach a step, we feel more safe there, and like comfort zones, we just want to stay. That's because many times, like the shift or the expansion, at some point we feel some kind of maybe uncomfort. um, it depends on each and every one of us. It can be maybe small uncomforts, or maybe we feel it's maybe stronger. It's like when we train a muscle, and when it gets bigger and it expands, we feel some uncomfort in it, and sometimes it can be pain. um, I'm not saying that we need to look for the uncomfort or the pain, but if it happens, it's more about moving through it, allow ourselves to feel any density, any, how to say, like I discussed in the beginning about handling those intense moments or those dense emotions. It's more about, if it comes to us, we allow it. We allow the experience to happen, and we allow ourselves to grow, to expand even more. Take a deep breath. And this expansion, the uncomfort, it doesn't need to be maybe painful. It doesn't need to be sad or intense. At some point, like as we are growing, we can have this uncomforts at the same time. Like in general, the general experience that we are having in life can still, we are having a good time, we are having fun in general. But there are moments where we feel those dense emotions. It's like when we, if we are with friends, a group of friends, and maybe we miss something we want to reach, or maybe we, we don't receive something that we wanted, and we make just fun of the experience. We laugh about it. So But I mean, like the uncomfort doesn't need necessarily to be very intense. But if that's the path we are having, if the intensity comes, then yeah, we know how we can handle that with time, with practice. Take a deep breath. I will stay silent for a couple minutes, just allowing you to contemplate this again and holding the space along with everyone to support you to feel more comfortable with the expansion, like having a continuous expansion, not just reaching a level, but it's more about um, always expanding and always creating more and and yeah, creating our dreams. Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. So thank you very much for taking this journey with me and all the group. So I feel very grateful to you, and I would love if something resonated with you or you felt something, I'd love to hear feedback. And so we have a question from Karen. Hi, Moncef. I was in a Saint Germain sanctuary for 2 years and loved it. But one day I found I could not even speak to my parents without feeling negativity all the time, and had to give up the sanctuary. I found out I was supposed to become a hermit, but no one told me this beforehand. I'm now afraid of my spiritual path, though I feel I have a divine mission. Can you assist me in this dilemma at all, please? So so I want to touch about different points, but the first one is um, like feeling the negativity. It's something normal, especially when you are in the sanctuary for a long time. You are very centered, very connected, and then you come back to the 3D world, and you will feel the density and the negativity from others in general. And sometimes it can be even more challenging from our families or people who are very very close to us. And with parents, because in general, I'm talking like in general, because they care about their children, but the way they care is that they want them to follow a path that's they think it's right for the children, but they don't allow their kids to, or their children to choose on their own. And this sometimes can feel very limiting, and you feel like, what to say, I'm not sure if this is the case with you, with your parents, but it feels like they're trying to enforce something on you that you don't want, a path that you don't want, and you feel like restricted. And these experiences, at some point, they can be very challenging. It's I mean, it's okay if you feel angry. It's okay if you feel you don't feel good at some point around them. Don't judge yourself for that. But also, it's because, how to say, especially with the parents, because those relationships, at some point, they get reflected in other relationships that we have with other people at some point, especially if we try to maybe run away from them. And I'm not saying that you accept whatever they say. It's more about standing in your truth, and you choose for yourself, but allow them maybe to have their own experience. It's not about giving up on what you want. Yeah. So you spent 3 years. I thought you spent 2 years in the sanctuary. So it was 2 years ago.
Is it okay to speak?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's just easier than trying to type it in, if that's okay. Yeah, it was 2 or 3 years ago since I left. It was just I was going out. I didn't need to stay in. It wasn't like a convent, but because I have a health issue, I was staying in quite a lot and doing a lot of the work to do with the sanctuary. It just happened all of a sudden that whenever I spoke to my parents, but also I found when I was speaking to, you're right, when I spoke to people even in shops, I was feeling really intense emotions from people, and it was really, really difficult and very overwhelming. Now, I have heard that other people have experienced this kind of thing. It's kind of, I suppose it's quite good to share this with the group, because
yes.
Well, I decided to leave the sanctuary. I could have stayed. I wasn't getting pressure from my parents to do one thing or another. It was up to me, and they knew that. I decided to leave because my parents were even then becoming a bit more frail, and I wanted to be able to assist them in that process and be able to speak to them without having to run away, basically.
Yeah.
So that was my choice, and I'm glad I did it. But now it has given me this kind of fear of going too deeply. I mean, I'm already now in another spiritual group. I don't know if anybody's heard of it, called Share International, and it's transmission meditation that I mainly do. But and that's fine, but I still have this kind of fear, of becoming too spiritual, in case these intense feelings arise every time I speak to somebody. Also, I'm in a relationship now, so I don't want the same thing to happen, because I'm happy with myself and my situation, but I still feel I've got this spiritual path. and a kind of divine mission. I don't mean to sound big-headed, but you know, I'm a healer. I know I'm a healer, and I would like to take that further. But I do have this kind of fear of going too far. So I don't really know how to go forward, to be honest with you. I'm just wondering if you had any thoughts on it, Moncef, because I've listened to your shows for about 2 years now and have a lot of respect for your views.
Thank you. And yeah, so what I understood is that when you are on your own space, when you are connected to your center, you feel that peace and sometimes that joy. But when you connect with others, you pick up on their own negativity, their issues, their unresolved issues. And as sensitives, like we experience that a lot. It's easier for us to pick up, and sometimes we don't even know if it's theirs or ours. And here it's more about, how to say, maybe having energetic boundary with others. What I was doing, I'm not sure if it resonates with you, because there are many ways to do that. For me, it's more about in the beginning of the day, in the morning, like doing some deep breathing and then calling the white lights coming through my crown chakra, and then also calling, like for grounding, also calling grounding energy connecting to earth, and bringing those two energies to my hand, and with my hands creating like a vortex around me. And this is more about it's like an energetic boundary. So I don't, it helps to either reduce or don't allow to pick up those negative emotions. It didn't, like the results was not like at once from the day one. It's more about practice. That's so you can try that if it resonates with you.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
I will try it. Thank you. I mean, I have tried like lots and lots of different protection remedies, spiritual kind of remedies like you're talking about. Not that particular one, and but I'll, you know, some similar ones. Maybe just too giving, as one of your recent speakers said. You know, I think as light workers, you just often give too much of yourself, you know, and I'm learning to hold back a bit more. So yeah, but I will definitely, I because I don't keep very well, I sometimes forget to get these boundaries in place. So now that you've said it, I will try and make sure I do that first thing in the morning. Thank you.
Yeah.
So thanks very much for your help and advice there. It's very appreciated, Moncef.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. Also, I wanted to mention another thing is that to just be okay. That's because we are living in a 3D world. There is negativity, a lot of it in the world, and it's just part of the human experience now. And our mission is to shift that. And more, it's how to say, like when we meditate, when we maybe do healing, when we connect to our center, when we are in nature or on our own, this is more about time for, it's like charging, it's like bringing more of the light. And then we walk in the 3D world. It's trying to how to say, bring more of these lights to the world. And so it's more about charging and then sharing these lights with the world. And part of this is to walk through the negativity that is happening in the world. So yeah, this is just a thought I want to say. And yeah, so thank you so much, Karen. And
yeah, no, that's great. And it's also making me think that I should get my nature walk in early. So thank you again for all your advice and help there.
Yeah.
And I'll mute myself now.
Yeah, thank you. All right, so hi.
Hi, Moncef, and everyone. Hi. You know, I turned on my video just because I wanted to share with Yana during the process, because I find that I've been doing this other thing where when I release, I yawn a lot. And I kind of got on when you started, and I started yawning, and I was like, oh, this isn't just me being tired. This is powerful and really, really working. And I know you were probably in your, in your doing your thing, and probably maybe didn't see, but I just wanted to show you how much it was working for me. And I feel like I released all the stuff, and I'm even like working while I'm doing it. So it was, what a blessing to jump on and get this. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Jill. Yeah, I'm glad it's yeah, it helps and it resonates with you. So thank you. Yeah, also thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Destiny. And yeah, also I will be holding, like I will be doing the same on December 15, like today. Instead of interview, it will be a group process. And after that, on starting the 16, I will hold, for now, I planned like 4 group sessions, 1 in each 2 weeks. And if you want to register for that, for 1 or 2 or 4 of them, it's on yourdivineuniqueness.com/Moncef, MONCEF. And then you can choose either to join one of these 4 dates or maybe to wait for a future one. And yeah, so that's all for today. So thank you again for joining me today. And I'm sending you so much love. And then we see you on the next call. Bye-bye, everyone.